Jeb, good morning, good morning. Ningo nungum, cloudy today. Nungum, ningo nungum. Uh, Today, oh, nukumis indigenicans, asabikone zaagi'igining doing jiba. Nukumis, and well, I said grandma's my name. Everybody calls me nukumis, so it's grandma. But what what I was gonna talk about today is I had a lot. I did a post on Facebook about bread, and I was gonna do like foods. You know, we win. That's food. We win. Just like when you say we in, eat. We yok. Everybody eat. And you know, then there's another word, me jin. Eat it. Kita me jin away. You should eat that. Well, anyway, um, I got some walleye from my niece yesterday. And what we were taught to do when we get stuff or like wild, like fish or deer or moose or what ducks, whatever, you're supposed to share it. You know, share it with your relatives or your friend. So I did that last night. I invited my three little grandsons and Perry over for supper, and I made cooked walleye and wild rice and fried bread, and we they come down and but the kids wouldn't eat the wild rice, and that's all they ate was fried bread with jam or peanut butter, and all that. And I went and burnt some on in the fire. I burnt just a little tiny bit of everything, just a little more. So anyway, that's what we were taught to do when we were. I remember my grandma and them would pass out the deer when they got deer. They'd pass out the deer meat for everybody that lived close to them. Fish, ducks. My uncles were all good duck hunters, and they'd give everybody ducks on the res. Deer meat. They'd pass it out, you know, get enough for everybody. Not they wouldn't overload, but and that's what I did. I was, you know, we have a new staff member here working in so this morning I had like some walleye left, and I cooked like 6 pieces, and I made fry bread and wild rice, and I bring it up to work here just to get George and Chili and Dale and Perry all ate up here, and just kind of like then like an introduction for him to see what Indians eat, you know, to know that was our meals: fish, wild rice, and fry bread or bannock. We never had fry bread when we were little kids. Everybody made bannock. The whole res, everybody, everywhere you would go, they would have bannock. And I was saying about my friend when we'd go out playing and we'd come back, everybody would be hungry, and he would go in hollering because was at the first house meets, and he'd call his mom. He'd say, "Kweshikan midday," and that meant bread and lard, and that's what we used to eat, bread and lard all the time. I used to like mine with salt on there, and but that was our butter. And my grandma used to be stingy with the lard. I suppose maybe that's why we didn't have fry bread because we used too much lard, and later on I started seeing fry bread. Somebody on Facebook made me hungry for bannock, so I made a little small one to make a spam sandwich. That was good. Spam sandwich with some bannock, and I just made it small enough to uh, uh, just about low enough to be cut it in 4 pieces, and me and my daughter was the only ones that ate. But that's how we used to. We didn't have butter at the time. Our, our lard was our butter. Zaagi'igining was butter. And then I talked about George, and then we're going to come up with put on a teaching, learn how to make fry bread and bannock and whatever. And sometime in May, it's not posted yet or whatever, but we're going to do that. Just in case, I said, in case things, things, get really bad where you. I remember when I, I was young, maybe 21. I used to be a assistant cook at the school with Miss Johnson, and every day we'd make like 12 loaves of bread with yeast. And I noticed that's the way a lot of people are making their fry bread now with yeast. And I call that Fred bread because there was this old man, he was just bragging. He was saying, I make the best fry bread in the reservation. Here's somebody seen him in a supermarket picking out loaves of frozen bread. So that's what he was using to make his fry bread. And with yeast, the loaves. But me and Miss Johnson worked for the school, and that's how I learned a lot from her. When I'd get there in the morning to the school, she'd brush me off, and we had to wear hair nets, and back then we had to wear dresses to work, and I was just her helper. I'd mop the floors in the kitchen area, and I'd help her make bread after she showed me how. And then I'd be the dishwasher. And then after that, I went to Head Start. I went and worked there was an opening, so I quit with Miss John at the assistant cook, and I went to Head Start. And Betty Jane was the cook then. A bonus, Betty Jane bonus, and she would make fry bread. That's then I started. Making fry bread, and one day she was making fry bread, and the way Head Start was built long time ago was it was just a little kitchen. That's how you got in the back door too. They had a big screened-in porch, and she was making fry bread, and she'd make a hole in the middle of her fry bread and fry it. The kids could see in the kitchen what was going on. No Sidra. She was only like 3-4 years old. She looked in the kitchen there, and Betty Jane was taking out a big fry bread out. She'd poke it in that hole and then bring it out, and old Sidra said, "Oh boy, donuts," she was saying. And Betty was laughing because her fry bread was nice and fluffy, and it did look like a donut with that hole in the middle. But yeah, she was That was the only cook that when I first, she was the first cook I worked with until she passed away, and then she was a really good cook. She, I learned a lot, like how to make my own barbecue sauce. I'd watch her when the kids would, I'd get a break and I'd go sit in the kitchen with her and talk with her, and she'd be making barbecue sauce, or she made everything homemade, and that she was a really good cook. And after, they had a lot of cooks, like Elaine was a cook there, Bobby, Norman's wife, was a cook there. Um, Mary Lou was a cook there. They had a lot of, I can't remember who all the other cooks were, but they had a lot of cooks after Betty passed. And it wasn't the same then after Betty was first cook there when the first old Head Start first opened. And like I said, we never ate hamburgers or fries or anything like that when we were kids. My mom would make deer burgers. She'd grind them up, and she'd make bannock biscuits, and just about the size of the hamburger. She'd make oven bannock, and then we just cut the biscuit open and put our deer meat burger in there, and oh, that was good. She'd cook everything from the deer, the liver. Oh, the deer liver was good. She'd cook it with zaagi'igining. What's a zaagi'igining, George?
Mm, it's a skunk.
Onion.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they say because it smells.
Yeah.
Smells like a skunk.
Zaagi'igining?
Yeah, that's
okay.
onion. Chicago. You could see skunk in there.
Mm-hmm.
Zaagi'igining.
Yeah. Learn something new every day.
Yeah. That's with the foods like carrots, kadakuk.
Mm-hmm.
Used to have all kinds of pinyin, all kinds of it. My mom used to boil deer meat, and she'd put all that like a deer stew.
Mm-hmm.
But she never had like celery or anything like that. She would just cook, all the vegetables that my grandpa planted. You know, I had a zaagi'igining. I had a dream of my uncle, my youngest uncle. His name was Spud. But I was dreaming I was feeding him. I was cooking for him, asking him what he wanted to eat. And he was telling me he was bedridden before he left Nett Lake. But yeah, and I was thinking about like corn. My grandpa used to have a big cornfield, and you know, there's a lot of.
Do you remember what age Spud got that polio?
Oh, he was like 14.
Oh, okay, so he's really young then.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he lived to be pretty old too. Huh?
Yeah. We stayed, me and Lester and our kids, Carlene and Son and Pete. Mark wasn't born then. And we stayed remember where Dude lived?
Mm-hmm.
Rita?
Yeah.
They called her Dude. And we lived there then before she moved in. And Spud lived with her. I took care of him.
Mm-hmm.
And he was bedridden. Then they had a hospital bed by the windows, and they took care of him. Jerry Chicago lived right right up the hill from there in that old house, and Jerry Chicago would come and wash him up,
Mm.
and I made sure he ate, and when he, he could stand up, but he had to watch him,
Yeah.
but then after that, we moved away. We went on relocation to Ohio.
Yeah.
In Cleveland, we went, and then he went to that nursing home in Chisholm. That's where he stayed until he passed away.
Yeah, I remember my dad always made it a point to go and visit him. So we go over there, and I met, I don't know how many times, at least about 10 times we stopped through there on our way back between Duluth and here through the early 70s, I believe it was.
Yeah, all of his nephews would all go visit him. Gail, Herbie, Reg, Squeak, Justin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember them times too, where we Herb and Reg would be over there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then we would go before we moved to when we came back from Cleveland. He was still there at that nursing home, and we go visit him. But so he just had a terrible life because he couldn't walk, and I talked to Perry this morning. I said, I brought food up here. I said, for new staff member, just to show them how we ate, how Indians ate. And I said, that's sharing. I said, that's what they should do, around here,
Yeah.
Sharing, caring.
Yeah, it's often I always kind of see where I don't know, a lot of that stuff that used to be done isn't done anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We used to have feasts for people. They even used to have like a thing for a newborn.
Mm-hmm.
I remember these people down. They were the nuns. They were down at by the Catholic Church down there where the ENP is now.
Yeah.
They used to they used to make bundles for babies when they were born.
Mm-hmm.
They'd go give the mother a big bundle. There'd be like diapers in there, rag diapers and blanket and 2 little gowns maybe, and just, and then when they left, and nobody ever, and that's long when I had my first baby. My friend wanted to give me a baby shower, but my grandma told her no. My mother told her no. She said, wait till the baby's born and you can come see the baby and bring a gift. That's what she told. And she used to say, never make moccasins before the baby's born.
Right.
So that's.
Yeah, that's a big thing I see happening too. Like that. I mean, granted that most everybody does baby showers, but
Mm-hmm.
that wasn't done
Yeah.
before.
Mm-hmm.
So you always waited until the baby was here.
Then you give a gift. Yeah.
Yep. Then you would provide that gift.
Even my granddaughters do that. They buy way before they're gonna have their baby.
Yeah. And I think the way they looked at it was just taking it for granted,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's just one of the things that our people practiced was don't count your chickens before they hatch. Kind of thing.
Now it's it's so different, and everything's changed. And another thing I was talking about when I first worked at Head Start. We used to all pitch in when somebody had a birthday, and I only got paid two something an hour when I first started. 2.35 an hour, I think. Everyone would give like 50 cents or $1 at the most, and Betty Jane would make a good little cake and little sandwiches maybe, and we had some of the director to go out and we'd give her all the money what we collected, and she would go buy the gift in Virginia or wherever she was from.
Mm-hmm.
And then we would make Christmas cookies for the programs on Christmas time, like the RTC, the health. We did, just made, just giving, and that's what I was saying nowadays. Like me and Lester talked about this years ago. How people are like maybe Wemtiguji Nini do that yet. They open a door for their lady.
Mm-hmm.
They hold a chair for them.
Yeah.
An old Indian man just walks ahead of his woman and let her carry all the stuff. That's what Lester used to do to me. And he'd just go on his side and get in a car, and if I had a big handful of stuff, I'd have to still open the door myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but after he went to UMD for 4 years, he went to college there. He came back. He was a change. Well, after he sobered up, he was changed.
Yeah.
He would hold the door, open the car door for me when they're going somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd help me. He'd carry all the stuff for me.
Yeah.
And and that's how he changed in one. Before that, he would go out first, and I'd be carrying 2 big grocery bags, and he'd just let the door slam behind.
I saw, remember Tony?
Mm-hmm.
I saw him do that at the front door there with the ladies from Head Start were going in there and they're carrying kids and that.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought, oh, that's rude. I said, how come you did that? He said, oh, I didn't see them. And I'm like, nah, come on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know he's not like that either all the time.
Yeah. So like that's how it was a long time ago when people were
Yeah, that's amazing. Did you ever hear any stories like that? Like maybe from grandma or her mom, not her mom, but grandpa's mom, about how the ladies and the men were back in their young days. Like you said, you would carry a lot of the load.
elder
Well, for the husband, because there's always this stereotype of the man walks three steps ahead or 4 steps ahead.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true in our culture or if that was ever observed, but I know that they were exposed. Like Grandpa was in the war and all that kind of stuff. So I'm sure they were exposed to other ways of interactions. But did anybody ever share like
Well,
stories?
my mom used to. She said the way it was a long time ago was the men took care of the boys,
Mhm.
showed them how to make bows, arrows, showed them how to hunt, showed them how to make snowshoes. They showed them how to make snowshoes, everything,
Mm-hmm.
and skin deers and moose cut it up, you know, because suppose that was too hard for the ladies to do. So sometimes the ladies would have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But and then the ladies and the grandmas or aunts, you know, the younger girls, they they had to show the little girls like 3 on up.
Mm-hmm.
They had to teach them like manners and I suppose how to help,
Yeah.
how to make dresses and
Mm-hmm.
how to tan hides and how to cook.
Yeah.
How to cook out in
I think a lot of that might have changed, after contact with, with the Guji, um, just kind of, I suppose, learning their attitudes or whatever. Like a man does this and a woman does that. And I think it probably messed up a lot of the traditions, because you look at the women, I think the women are like the strongest part of the family, and held everybody together.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's still perceived that way, but it was probably more so back in the day because they were the ones that really were the teachers and the reason why everybody kind of held close.
I know all my uncles, they were the boss.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way it was. The man was the boss.
Mm-hmm.
Now I think the ladies are the bosses.
Yeah.
See?
Well, I think it comes back, because I would probably say that women are like I said, the glue, the thing that holds our people together. They're very. I know they're very strong. One of the ones. I mean, just as an example, from my mother's side, they're looked at as fierce warriors and protectors. And I see that here. I see, we Okichidakwe are honored, and so I know there's a lot of that, and then even with, I guess, preparing, our children
Yeah.
to face life in another way, like to go out to school and to go off into work or go off into the world or that whole experience. I think that's the women that do that. Like they don't leave any of their kids, they don't abandon their kids, and so those kind of things I see that we're losing a little bit of that understanding that was usually passed down.
Yeah, there's a lot of. When Lester was sick and he was on his deathbed, that he used to always tell me, "What would I do without you? If I was sick here, I wouldn't have nobody."
Yep.
Because I used to, help him with everything,
Mm-hmm.
bathe and everything else, and
Yeah.
like I was his nurse, and that's the ladies would go pick medicine and they'd dry berries for the winter, and they'd have them big deer hide bags where they'd keep
Mm-hmm.
like dried blueberries and strawberries, raspberry, any kind of berries. They'd have them all. Sometimes they would all be mixed together. I suppose they'd make. I remember my mom used to always make us blueberry dessert. She'd boil the blueberries and she'd put like 2 tablespoons of flour with a little bit zaagi'igining in there,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Sugar.
she would boil them, and that's what we used to eat with our bannock.
Mm.
We'd eat, pour it over our bannock.
So that would be like jarred or
No,
just.
she'd have blueberries put away,
Oh, okay.
and she'd put them on the stove, and then
Mm-hmm.
flour in there, and then some zaagi'igining, and then we'd eat our blueberries, and that was just a treat too once, and we didn't get it all the time
Right.
because my grandma, like I said, she was stingy with the lard
Mm-hmm.
and sugar. She was stingy with sugar.
I suppose it was expensive
Yeah,
or hard to process.
Yeah, I remember Thanksgiving. I wasn't in school yet, but I remember that's all we had. I knew it was. I could hear them talking about Thanksgiving, but we never had that. That's all we had was my mom cooked wild rice in an old black big skillet black pan,
Yeah.
and she cooked about 3 cups of rice in there to feed everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And now I know enough to just cook like 2/3 cup of rice to feed like 4 people. I used to make
Make 2
2
cups.
cups, and that would be a
Be a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I used to waste a lot on my Norman.
Mm-hmm.
Just I'd have to end up throwing it away.
I don't mind that, especially when I cook shishi with it,
Mhm.
duck. I like that. I can eat that for days.
Yeah, that's what I do now. When instead of throwing it away, I freeze it.
Yeah.
And I use it to make soup.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Dessert or.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff.
Everything was like I remember Ruth Ann. She used to can ducks.
Mm.
She bug.
Mm-hmm.
She used to have like about for the winter. She used to can them.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom used to go help her, and they'd split the quarts up. And my mom and them had a cellar, and remember that cellar they used to have in the kitchen?
Mm. I don't remember. I don't even think I was around when the big house was still there.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I remember is like being in a swing, like an Indian swing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's my earliest memories that I have.
Mm-hmm. Way bizun, that's what they call the Indian swing.
Way bizun?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bizun, you're going.
Mm-hmm.
Like bombis is you're riding in a car. Bombis. Way bizun. They used to make them out in the blueberry camps.
Mm-hmm.
When we go there, I remember Emma used to make one for Reggie.
Yeah.
She wherever she'd pick blueberries, she'd sit in a big patch and she'd make a swing from one tree to another. And she'd have a big long rope. She'd sit there when he'd stop swinging, she'd swing him again.
Mm-hmm.
But then she'd move. Then she'd take his swing down and move it to another place.
Yeah. Yeah, that's convenient. I like that idea.
Yeah. Way soon.
And my daughter, we just had one of them little Fisher Price swings that we used, and no, we didn't really set it up. But my mom and dad, they would do that for Rogene's kids, Rogene's boys. They grew up in that swing. And we always had that down in Arizona too. I remember that cradle boards. I remember my aunt was only a year older than I was down there, and we basically grew up together. But I can always remember her being in there. She was. I think that's part of the reason why my head too is kind of like a cradle board head.
Yeah.
Where it's a little bit flat in the back. Yeah.
Yeah. When I posted something and somebody put on there lost people we are. I was taught much, but I taught myself how to be respectful to our elders. That's another thing that they taught us when we were at Strongville, how to care for people, be giving people when you get food like fish or something, and lot of kids aren't taught the Indian values that are. And but I always tell my kids and grandkids, treat people like you want to be treated. Be respectful to everyone. Don't hate and talk bad about anyone. Remember, what goes around comes around. And people text me and I answer them.
Mm-hmm.
And but and I was I was t- oh I I posted. I have a lot of time in my old age to sit and look and watch. And like when you're a baby, they used to say, sit you. They'd sit you by a tree, or when you're picking berries, they'd put you in a cradle board. They'd prop you up somewhere, and the baby would look all over up in the sky. He'd look at him outside, look at the trees, and now that's the way I am when I'm older. I sit by my window all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching 3 crows up there.
Yeah.
They were mating.
Mm.
There was 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Usually there's only 2.
Right.
First time I saw 3.
Mm.
And they'd almost knock each other down.
Mm.
They'd bump into each other up in the sky where they were flying.
Yeah.
And I think that was fair. I said, look, the crows, she don't even look around. I don't think she's still kind of young yet,
Mm-hmm.
45. And I said, I've been watching these crows mate here. I said, just sitting by the window. I said, there's one crow. I don't know if that's that must be the lady crow.
Mm-hmm.
I said, or else them 2 crows are the ladies and that 1 crow is the man. I don't know. I said, but whatever. I said, they're mating. I said, I think that one crow is trying to be nijukoi.
Mm-hmm.
That means 2 women.
Yeah.
And I just kept watching them, and
Mm-hmm.
again they were there this morning. They were flying around,
Yeah.
almost knocking each other
Mm-hmm.
out of the sky.
Well, they do some pretty interesting behavior or whatever it is. I know that's true in probably most animals, all animals. I would probably say that they have like the same characteristics as people. Yeah.
Like Jig and them young used to go climb trees at Gishik's Landing down there, and they would come back with little baby crows
Mm-hmm.
when the crows were born,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and they'd have them as pets. They would tame them.
Yeah.
And one lady said, when they lived around here, she said there was a crow by the graveyard up there. That crow would say hello to her.
Yeah, yeah.
And they would steal things off clotheslines.
Mm-hmm.
My mom said she couldn't keep clothespins on a clothesline because the crows would come steal them.
The one thing I heard, they would they'd bring in whatever was shiny.
Yeah.
Something shiny they would always come back with.
Just like the spirits, that's what they tell us.
Mm-hmm.
Spirits like shiny things.
Yep.
So when a lake opens, I'm gonna go through like a shiny quarter
Mm-hmm.
in a lake
Nice.
with some tobacco.
Yeah.
And they used to sleep inside the old crows with Lester and Diggy when
Mm-hmm.
they had a crow. But that crow was mean, and he'd see a kid and he'd go land on his head and he'd peck their heads.
Oh, wow.
So they had to get rid of him because they were afraid he was going to peck somebody's
Yeah.
eye out.
I remember Cobbin. had a crow. He used to come up to my grandma's house up there to visit with Cecile, and he'd always bring that crow by, and he'd always let it sit on me. I remember that. But that's the last person I remember that ever had a pet crow like that.
Yeah, Lester indeed. And the first year they had him, they said when the crows go south or whatever, that crow wouldn't go. He
Yep.
stayed there all winter right in their house.
Well, I suppose it was warm.
Yeah, well, it was warm. Then they feed him.
Right.
I don't know what they fed him all winter.
Huh.
All baboon.
Maybe they got him some weos somewhere.
Yeah, something.
Maybe a rabbit or
Yeah, I never asked Lester what
they fed him.
What they would
Hmm.
give Mijin. On day go give Mijin weas.
Do you just feed the hummingbirds, or do you feed your birds all year long?
I feed the birds all year long.
Oh, okay.
Lester used to buy them bird
Oh, them feeders.
Seeds.
Yeah.
He'd buy it a 50-pound bag.
Oh, yeah.
Now I just buy them in 25-pound, but I run out again. So, but I feed them. Then I every year I keep track of the hummingbirds. They've been coming back May 12th.
Yeah.
Same time, maybe 2 days later or a day late. But they're always around May 12th. And I have them sitting right by my window where I can look at them, watch them.
I see they said they follow those, they're like woodpeckers. They call them yellow, what is it? Yellow-bellied sapsuckers. They poke holes in them trees, and then they're after not only the bugs but the sap. So that's what they feed off of, and then the hummingbirds come around right in back of them, and that's so the woodpeckers or the sapsuckers, they already made the hole, so then that's all the hummingbirds have to do is just come there and drink after they're done.
Yeah. I got a little granddaughter. Her name is Nanukasi. Nanukasi Koi. She's just a little tiny. She just reminds me of a little hummingbird.
Yeah.
So that's her Indian name, Nanukasi. That's how you say hummingbird. And
so I was like listening to or singing that hummingbird song too. Remember Louis Counselor? You know Louis, huh? Yeah. He always sang that on his drum.
Another Shane said, I remember Len and Kurt used to have a pet crow. The crow would fly from Myra's house to our house. The crow used to sit on their shoulders.
Yep.
I think just about every kid, every boy had a crow.
Probably, yeah.
And then Muriel said they did, the crow of Len's would go around stealing tools, keys. Then she said, Mom got one drunk on vodka. The crow flew towards the lake and never came back. He probably got too drunk and fell in the lake and drowned it.
That's a crazy story.
Yeah. And there's another one. My uncle had a pet crow at the fish camp on Rainy Lake. Then I posted about Nijuquay, 2 women. I'm Native American. I got it, she said. Then, that was the one she said. I remember T. John Connor had an ondag, and that ondag would sit on the roof of the old Methodist church and say hello. Used to scare me because we lived next to the cemetery and there wasn't anyone else around. And then Joe Headland, my sister Pam had a raven. Didn't like my dad. would dive bomb him. My dad would run to Orr to buy booze, and the Raven would be waiting on top of the Muni to torment him.
Wow.
My cousin T-John, that was the one they were talking about.
Yeah, I remember that when you had that crow.
They put on there, yeah, when you get old, you have a lot of time to sit and watch and remember things people used to do. And that's what I do. I just sit and I think of what, like things that we used to do as kids and all that.
When did they start playing marbles? Do you remember?
Jig and them used to play marbles.
Yeah.
Jig and Hank, Delvin O'Lanier.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
Roots.
It was at least them guys, and then
Son and all you guys used to play marbles.
yeah, and I think that was well, I don't know. Them other kids used to. Them younger ones would play. I don't know how when it faded out or whatever, but it wasn't long after we stopped playing, or we got into high school anyway.
I don't think Anthony ever played marbles. I never asked him, or I don't remember him.
Yeah.
I don't remember him playing marbles.
Yeah. Well, it used to be a big thing anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody seemed to.
Then we used to play jacks.
Yeah.
They don't play them anymore, or pickup sticks.
Yeah, that too.
And
Well,
then,
parents were tired of stepping on them jacks.
yeah. And then when we were younger, like even before we went to school, we didn't have nothing like basketballs or anything. We'd play kick the can.
Mm.
We'd always have somebody would clean out some cans, and we'd have like 4 cans.
Mm-hmm.
We'd play kick the can all the time on the road.
Yep.
Because there was no cars.
I remember we would do that when we go down like Big Point, or go down. We'd always just find a pop can along there.
Then when you go down to Strongville, that rope is still hanging on that big tree back there.
Mm.
Then when Tarzan movie was on, that's what Gillig and all them, Justin, them made a big ropes that were this thick.
Yeah.
Then they'd swing from the barn, and then they on that big
Yeah.
they were calling it a vine or something.
Yeah.
They were playing Tarzan.
The jungle vine.
Yeah, it's still there.
Uh,
If you go down there, even this spring, you could still see that rope hanging.
oh, huh. I never noticed that. I'll have to go down there. Well, we were going to go through there again, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So sometime soon.
And I know how to get down there right to the house, but
Mm.
you have to go on a lagoon road.
Oh, okay.
And you can just pick out, okay, should we take a little,
Yeah, we can take a break.
okay, and then Menikweni Beach, drink my tea, Menikweni Beach, Noon de Menikwe, I'm thirsty, Noon de Menikwe.
All right, everybody, we are going to take a break here and update you on some information as far as weather.
That's how you say your kids. They need John suck.
Right on. I love that song. Equazance, he says. Okay, we are back. Yeah, it's 11:19 straight up, and yeah, so we got about 40 minutes of show yet. And usually, what we do is we just kind of go back into the second part of the hours, and let me get you an update here on what we got coming up today on Native America Calling. Yeah. So for Thursday, April 27th, Gathering Music Part 1, Gathering of MCs, it says. The annual Gathering of MCs event in Albuquerque enters its second decade, celebrating hip hop with Native Punch, Vel9, Mazzy, and SOUL, Purpose, and the Tawny Means are among the artists appearing live. It says we talk with musician and Gathering of MCs founder, Def I, who's Danae, and rapper singer Ashta Hunter, who's Yavapai, Apache Nation, about the event and the direction of Native hip hop. That's on today's Native America Calling. And like I was telling you yesterday, Gathering Nations kicks off in the sea this morning. It's already underway. And we'll be going tonight, tomorrow, and Saturday. So, yeah, and into the wee hours of Sunday. So, and they do have a live feed, I believe. So you go on, let me see, what is it, gatheringofnations.com, and peruse the page. I'm sure you'll run right into the stream. Streaming information. You can check out Grand Entry and check out the dancers, check out all the categories, all that good stuff. I don't know what if they got, yeah, they do. They do have some specials that they do add to the broadcast. So it is pretty good. Yeah, check it out. Anyhow, we're going to be back to our Anishinaabemoin with Karen Drift radio show right here on KBFT. All right, Auntie, you're back on.
Can you see this picture here?
Yeah.
It says it bring what? Bring your
kid to work day today, it says.
He brought he's going to be a cop within.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
Parker, he brought him to work.
Yep, so that's old Pete. And then his son Parker. Bring your kid to work day today.
I bring my kid to work on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Oh,
Anthony.
Yeah. Yeah, he's back there. He's the one conducting all the streaming video and all that. So, Miigwech Anthony.
Yeah, he's learning too, I think, more.
Yeah. Well, it's always good to get some experience, doing a lot of this media stuff, because it's a way to get our messages out there.
Yeah, he's getting training.
Yep. And then we got Orlando here. He's our new legacy project manager, and so he'll be putting together all these music, art, food type events that we've been doing here in the past. And then beyond that, we've got some bigger fish to fry. Speaking of which, miigwech for bringing in our meal today, Auntie. That was very good. I love the walleye. I think I kind of, I don't know if anybody checked this out or Anthony put the camera on me while I was munching away there. But yeah, I was letting you take over the show while I sat back and enjoyed the walleye. And I still got my rice to eat here, so I'm looking forward to that here, hopefully, as we get to the lunch hour. But yeah, anything you want to address?
That's that chili. That's the only way I know him by my name. I was calling him, what's his name?
Orlando.
Okay, I was calling him Geraldo this morning.
Geraldo chili. There you go.
Yeah, that's right. But he said that's the first time he ever ate rye bread.
Yeah.
And he said he really likes it.
Yeah. And he said he can dream up all kinds of ways to, to market it if
Yeah.
So he's full of ideas.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do on a May.
That's
4th.
on May 4th.
No, May 4th. I'm going into Iron World to. They want my rye bread recipe, so I'm gonna go show 3 ladies how to make rye bread for Indian tacos on Powwow on May 13th.
Yeah, that's right. Awesome. That's good.
Iron World.
Chaz is putting that on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Why he said he wants my recipe. He said the last time they had a powwow and the Indian tacos were a disaster.
Oh.
I suppose the bread, why they want to know how to make bread.
Yeah, I think the deal is it hardened up pretty fast on them. So.
Were you there?
One year, yeah, when they had the tacos. They weren't too bad, I think, the year before, or a couple of years before then, but I know they put this on every year for the past, I don't know, 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
So, good event.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's invited over there, so
Yeah.
dancers, and they'll have a few drums there, invited drums, but it's to celebrate all the graduates from this year. So if you got a graduate, you can bring them over there, and they'll be honored as part of the event.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm ready to go there on the 13th.
And then we're going to plan one here.
Yeah.
I think we're going to try to do that on the 13th. They were talking about it, so we'll have a fry bread making demonstration. You can come on up and learn the ways.
Yeah. Ingredients will be supplied.
Yep. So we'll bring the flour, the baking powder, the oil, and the salt.
Yeah. Bacon. Just bring your.
No yeast though. We don't
We
do
don't
the
want-
yeast variety.
We don't want bread. We want, bring your own bowl.
Oh yeah. And we'll post some information on the KBF website.
Yeah, we'll do Bannock at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So what were we talking about when we last left here? I can't remember.
I think we were talking about. I remember Uncle Spud, and what was it after that? Was it fry bread? Maybe. Oh, we were talking about Orlando and how you prepared this little meal for him.
Oh, yeah.
So you can get a taste of.
Indian foods.
Yep.
Mhm. We had.
And then he was full of questions too.
Yeah.
Like all the
Mhm.
all the animals. He wanted to know how to say cow. Beijiki.
Mhm.
And what else did he want to know?
Benet.
Yep, benet, partridge.
And Benet she. You just add she on the end of Benet.
Mm-hmm.
That's a bird. Benet she.
Yep.
And pig kukush.
Yeah, and he was wondering how to say like the
Hamburger.
Yep.
Hamburger.
Beijiki wias.
Yeah. Cow meat, that's where they make hamburger from. Shiki, anyone. Duck, shishi,
Mm-hmm.
and wawashke shi.
I told him he can't miss out on shishib naboob.
Mm-hmm.
You
Duck
can't-
and rice.
Yep. I can't wait for that myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I swear that was straight from the creator, that combination,
Mm-hmm.
duck and rice.
That's how my grandma and then they used to cook when the 1 year they were low on they didn't my mom and my grandma went out racing all day and they would not even get a pound of rice.
Mm.
That was when We didn't have rice, so they used to make duck and zaagi'igining.
Mm.
See, you could
Dumpling?
see, yeah, like zaagi'igining bread.
Yeah.
Not wabu is bread soup.
Yeah.
They how they would make that zaagi'igining was they just make like put flour and then milk and a little bit salt
Mm.
or water. They
Mhm.
never had milk, or they had canned milk. And then they just kind of mix it like into stringy
Oh, okay.
stringy things, and then they put them stringy things within that duck soup,
Mm.
and that was called. They used to call that zaagi'igining.
So just like a bread soup,
Yeah,
only
They-
with duck.
yeah. Then that we used to eat boiled fish. We'd break bannock in there,
Yeah.
and that's how we'd eat fish soup with bannock pieces in there.
And you said that they did that with wild rice too. Fish and wild rice soup. No.
No, I don't remember eating fish with wild rice.
Mm.
I just remember eating with fish with benet,
Okay.
partridge,
Yeah.
and deer soup and moose and
Yeah, because I remember somebody told us a story like that. Was it? Oh, I don't think it was Gary. I think it was somebody that mentioned Joanne that she liked to eat that soup, fish.
fish soup,
Yep.
soup with wild rice.
Yeah. something like that.
I never tasted that
Mm.
because I would like it fish soup.
Yeah.
Yihuabu.
Yeah.
That's fish soup. Like soup, how do you say like soup?
Aboob.
Naboob, yeah. But we used to eat all kinds of muskrat, oshush,
Mm-hmm.
beaver, amik. We'd eat wabus. We'd eat
It's rabbit.
wabus, rat. We'd eat gog, porcupine.
Mm-hmm. You haven't done Kijib yesterday.
Bijinago,
Uh,
Wiganesh, Kiwabanda.
by where was that road that goes up to the resorts after that big long stretch? You turn the corner there,
Oh yeah, I know.
and then you go straight up that little hill right there. He was going across. Looked like he was still sleepy too.
Oh yeah, that was called how do you say hill? Geez, see, I can't remember now how you say it. Oh
Not like Ogiedaki, is it?
yeah, Ogidaki
No. Uh-huh.
is a hill. They will mean she did Ogidaki.
Oh, okay.
She, you know what she is?
Uh-uh.
His
Oh.
in Ogidaki is hill.
Oh, okay.
I always hear them call that. That's what they named that hill.
Uh-huh.
The English name.
Oh.
But I say she go get Ogidaki.
Okay.
She not she.
That's what I was going to say. That Duck Hill.
She
Uh-huh. All right.
Sheeg, you say.
Uh-huh.
And then sheeb, sheeb.
Mm-hmm.
Remember Cash used to call him sheeb?
Yep, old Sheeb. That's what he would say. My name's not Sheeb, he'd say.
He didn't like his name. There's a lot of people. I hear people mentioning we're reading a book that two old ladies. Heart Warrior has that book, and since I can, read, she'd come and read me a chapter a day. She'd come to the house. And she'd read me a chapter of the stories about two old women that they got They were running. They were starving. This band was starving. They didn't have nothing to eat. And these two old ladies, they were going to move on, but they had to leave these two old ladies behind because they were too old, and they knew they were going to they were going to die.
Yeah.
And so they left them behind, and they moved on to a different hunting ground or looking for one. And there was two old ladies, but there was one old lady. She was the older one, but the younger one was kind of helped her along, and they just left them their teepee and their stuff, what they owned, and they they were the only two left on behind, and it was winter, cold, and they were cold, and they were thinking they're gonna die pretty soon, so they stayed in that teepee, but there was nothing. But then they went snared rabbits. The one that could get around better than that older one. They went and caught two rabbits in a snare, and then they cooked them. And then that's what kept them alive. They would just save that and eat them little at a time. So they'd drink the broth and to keep them strong, and then they finally they were gonna move on. They were gonna move somewhere. One old lady said she knew of a place where they used to camp, because like Indians, how they used to move from you know place to place.
Yeah.
Like in the summer they'd move by some, and in winter they'd move in like a swamp where there was a lot of big trees to keep the wind out. But this old lady knew of a place, so they decided to take off, and they would get. That's all they lived on was wabos. Wabos is a rabbit, and then they were getting to to the place where the old one remembered, and so they were wondering how their people were that went ahead of them, and the people that left them behind thought they were dead already, and but they weren't. They went found that place where she first where they first lived, and there was like a lot of uh, animals there that they ate and hunted, and at the end there, uh, the tribe the tribe that left them behind went back to go check on them, and they found that they were gone, and they said they must. I don't know what happened to them, but they kind of knew that they moved someplace, so they went looking for them. And here they were still starving, the ones that left them behind. So they went and they found them. There was a party of four Niniuk, four men, and they found them, and the two old ladies had a wias, a lot of meat. So the men, Niniuk, they told them that they were still starving. So these two old ladies had a lot of meat, and they gave them guys some bunch of rabbits and whatever. That younger lady even shot a deer. She had like a bow and arrow or something, and then they gave them some meat to take back to their people over there. And I don't know. I can't remember if she was done with that. But anyway, every day she'd come and read to me because I can't read little bitty letters. Even with my glasses, I have a big magnifying glass that I use to read my medicine.
Oh, yeah.
But that's a good story. Two old women, the name of it is. And I told her you should have read it to the Dejan's class, chapter by chapter.
So you'd say, Niche.
Nish Diboilk,
Oh, Dumwilk.
two old ladies.
Mm-hmm.
Nish or Diboilk. So you just add in a number. Nish. If there was one, you'd say Bejik Dimoe, one lady.
Mm-hmm.
Or Bejik Kwe, one lady. Or Nish Kwe. And two ladies. Niswe, Bejik, Nish, Niswe, Niwin, Nanan, Ningodaswe, Nishwaswe, Nishwaswe, Jamiswe, Medaswe, Ashibejik, Medaswe, Ashinij, Medaswe, Shiniswe, Medaswe, Shiniwin, Medaswe, Shinanan. That's counting to 15. Then when you get to 19, then you go Nish Tana. You're changing numbers to Nish. Nish Tana. Nish Tana Ashibeshik. Then you go all the way to 9 again, then you change to 3. 29, then 30. Once you get that, you're on your way to, like I noticed Darren knows his numbers. He's good at numbers. There's always something in Anishinaabe that you're good at, say knowing all the animals,
Mm-hmm.
knowing all the words like animals, counting,
Food.
Yeah, we cinnamon. That's how you say food, we cinnamon. That's what I say. Jeba, we cinnamon is breakfast. Jeba is morning. Like Gijeb, Mino Gijeb, and I say good morning. And then you just say Jeba, we cinnamon. You just, that's all it is just adding another word in the back. Like Bine is a partridge. Bine, she is a bird. Like it would be like a robin or say Bine she, but OPG is the really name for a robin. OPG. Like sheep is a duck, goose is a nika. I play that game with the elementary duck goose even. I played that game with Head Start. She sheep, nika, duck goose.
Oh, yeah.
And that's how they learned how to know animals. Like I see that Head Start teacher. She got the Head Start kids to say "bebe jigugaji." Usually everybody has a hard time pronouncing horse.
Yeah.
Bebe jigugaji. But now them little bitty Head Start kids know how to say Bebe Shigugaji, But it just takes practice. That's all it takes. If you don't practice, you don't know. You practice, you will know. Practice on the side by yourself. Like they say, practice makes perfect. Minochige, that means doing good. Mitzi, you could say, you see, Mino, everything good is Mino. Mino Nagusi, you look good. Mino Magusi, you smell good. Mino anything. Mino Gijeb, good morning. Yeah, good life. Mino, just you could think of like good day. Mino
Gishik.
Gishik, you know, there's just everything you could think of. You can say the word, you know. And if you're doing good, you know, you say, what did they say?
Manoya.
Oh, that's well.
Oh.
You're well. Minoya, I'm well. Ne minoya,
Oh, Nimanoya.
I am well. Ne minoya. Or going and going and minoya, see, I'm not well. You add going in front of there. Going minoya, see, nungum. I'm not well today. Gonna budge see. I think I'm sick. And that's a whole sentence.
So Ganapaj is like, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kanapachniyakusi nungum. I think I'm sick today. Then you could just keep adding on sentences like Anineshiayaya nungum. Oh, going minoyasi. Kanapachniki akusi nungum. And, you know, and then pretty soon you'll be able to keep going. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Anin, then you could say like, Anin, or you could say, Ganesh, Yogi, Visaganda, what are you hurting? Oh, Tiguan, my head.
Mm-hmm.
Kanapachniki Wabandan, Mishkiki Nini. I think I'll go see the doctor. Kanapachniki Wabama, Mishkiki Nini. Malkishaogi Miniku, Mishkiki. Maybe he'll give me some medicine. Malkishaogi Minik, Mishkiki. And you could just say, you know, do like when you get up, you could say, oh, the baka de. Wekunashtigi mi jinunga. Jeba. What could I eat this morning? I do that and I talk to myself, oh, ganapachniki mi jinna. Wawan minwa. Anishinaabemoin. Zaagi'igining, may ganapach dudu shabu nagi minikwen ungum. Gigi awa na, do you want some? And that person would probably say, oh, gawin. Miyasha nagi mi jin jamba. Already ate this morning. Miyasha nagi mi jin jamba. Oh, wegunesh nagi mi jin. Oh, me at the go wawan. Mikanapse kukush. Makademish kiki wabu. And oh, miigwech kuda. Thank you. Thank you. And you know that's a sentence like talking back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you were talking to your kid. Say, Skuzin, wake up. Kikinawamage nungum. Wake up, you're going to school today. Kita, Weweeb, you should hurry. Sidi Gished, take a bath. You know what? Listen in. Kita, Kibakadena. Eya, Nina Bakade. Yes, I'm hungry. Eya, Nina Bakade. Niki, mi jinwe, Jashimanomin. I'll eat oatmeal. Minawa, dudu shabu, oatmeal and milk. Malkisha, odeminan. Kidana, odeminan.
Strawberries.
Do you have strawberries? Kidana, odeminan. Gawin, no. Gawin, odeminan. Linda, semen. Kita wajana. Dawe gamig. You go to the store, ki dawe Odeminan, go buy strawberries. You know, you could just go on and on with the talking, the language. If that's what I did after my husband passed away. I'd be in my room talking to myself and even answering myself just to keep up my language. And because I used to ask him, "Shkuzen," I'd say, "Dog, you should tune the academic kikiwabu. Wake up, go make coffee," I tell him. That was before he was sick.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'd say, "Kisibi kishe, no?" He couldn't take a shower. He'd say, yeah. He'd say, yeah. I'd say, oh, Nin, Nikki, si big shaggy, Nin, I want to take shower too. Then he'd say, sometimes he'd say, go, he'd tell me to get on si big shag. He'd say, well, you take a shower, he'd say, and I'll put on some nibi, Nikki, Nikki, he'd say anyway, put on water for zaagi'igining, boil water. Nibi. I can't remember how you say boil water. It's nibi. That's water. Dudu shabu, milk. Shimin mabu is apple juice. I suppose you can use all fruit, but you would have to use wabu. Like wabu is pop.
Anzan?
What?
Anzan?
What's that?
Boil it. Anzo?
Yeah, something like that I remember.
Anzage? He or she boils things.
Anzage. I think that would be boiled water. Anzage nibi. Nagijatun zaagi'igining, boil water so I can make some oatmeal. I used to hear it saying that a lot, boil water, nibi. Nibi. I had that, somebody took that sign down in the hallway right there. There was an old, I don't even look there anymore. That water fountain out there, I had a big sign on there. Nibi I put on there. But I think someone took it down.
I think they moved the whole fountain.
Oh, okay.
Because I remember them talking about it a long time ago, 7 years ago, 8 years ago.
I know I found Clara's hot water in your bathroom.
Oh yeah, that sign.
Yeah. Yeah, Nibi.
Mm-hmm.
And it had cold too.
Yeah.
Cold water, and because we labeled a lot of stuff in here when we had Head Start here.
Yeah.
We labeled the bathrooms and hot water, cold water. We labeled everything in Head Start, the refrigerator, the stove, everything. The walls, the lights. But then they eventually, when we left, they eventually took everything out. Did Perry talk to you? He was going to talk to you. He didn't stay, yeah? He got a call out.
He probably had to go.
He had something for you.
Mm.
And I said, Perry, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
You're sharing with us. I said, up here at KBFT, and I said, we're sharing with you.
Yeah.
I said, like, I go to them language tables with Jay.
Mm-hmm.
I go there. I go share stuff. I said, that's good that programs share with one another.
Right.
If they hear something or know something, just to go let them know, don't keep it to yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, he did a tremendous job here. I mean, it was a lot of the language stuff, you know, where the illustrations and the pictures and all of that. That was great stuff that he did for us. Really helped, you know.
Helping out each other.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I try to do to the school vision. I tell him, you know, we should do this, we should do that, we should, you know.
Yeah.
Just give some don't like to be told, you know, because it ain't their idea, but
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah, I know. So cooperating is probably the best thing we could do, you know. If people are getting the right information and kind of joining it with other efforts.
Yeah.
Because it's going to take everybody, you know. And I don't know if like the health offices or the, you know, kind of understand or at least have information about how that helps, you know, with people in their self-esteem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it helps, even though, you know, some people might be resistant to that, you know, like, well, I don't need to know that, or yeah, it's important. I think it just for what's around you and the resources that are available, I think it's important for people to reach out. And of course, we teach that, you know, like Orlando, we're kind of giving him direction, you know, as far as how we use tobacco, you know, and so he wants to be respectful and he wants to do the job and do it properly, and so we try to help him along that, you know. And it's like, well, you don't want to be bossy, you don't want to be you know, you want to come across in a respectful way. So
You don't want saying, oh, that director is bossy.
yeah, so he's open to you know, listening and learning, and so you know, you heard his curiosity with all the animal questions, and
Yeah.
so that's usually where everybody starts out.
I wish more people were like that.
Yeah.
How do you say this? How do you make this? How do you make that? You know.
Yeah.
They should have people like Bubba and Faith. They know how to do a lot of stuff, like make baskets.
A lot of outdoor stuff.
Like Keith used to know. And you know, that's his mom and dad, so they know how to do a lot of that.
Yeah.
They should get Nett Lakers involved.
Yeah, well, I know we've had other people in the community come up and show, you know, like we had Jones, Gordon Adams come up here and show how to do, how to process ducks, you know.
Yeah.
We call that, I can't think of that, pluck.
Yeah,
I couldn't even, how would you say pluck?
I don't know. I don't think there's a word
Let me see here.
for skin. Skin a duck. That wouldn't work either. Bazo.
It's
Bazo.
Bukwaj Badoon. Pluck it, snatch it, pull it off, or something.
I know when they burn that, my mom used to burn a feather after she'd pull all the feathers off the duck. She'd hold it over an open fire to get a singe, all that.
Yep.
So they used to say bazo.
Oh, okay. Let me look that up. Yeah, that's probably what.
Bazo.
Singe. Yep. Singe. Just to singe. Oh yeah, there it is. Bazo.
Get down bazo with the sheep. Singe the ducks.
The N is silent on here. It says bunza. Bunzo. So it must be bazo.
Yeah, bazo. I used to hear a lot of them old words, like, can't remember. They used to use a word for pulling the rabbit skin down, way down, you know, to the head. And that's how they used to make their wabos, dajigan, their rabbit socks.
Oh, okay.
One sock is zaagi'igining.
Mm-hmm.
Two are zaagi'igining.
Zaagi'igining.
You're one zaagi'igining.
Mm-hmm.
Knees zaagi'igining. Two socks. Like your wilkwan, your cap, your wilkwan. Your bagagiwan, your shirt, bagagiwan. Your budegwazanan, your pants. Budiegwazanan,
How's the dress again?
gudas.
Gudas, yeah. All right, well, we're just in the last couple seconds here of the show. So we got about 20 seconds here, Aunty.
Mhm. Yeah, well, I always have, somebody will post something and talk about something, and that's another way I get things to talk about if they want to know.
Yep, so get a hold of Aunty and post your questions or
Then,
anything that you would like to know.
then we could talk about it on the Noondagimuchigan. That's how you say radio.
Okay.
See Noonda, you hear
Mm-hmm.
Noondagimuchigan, and that must be the radio box or something.
Okay.
Kita
All right.
Noonda na. Did you hear that? No.
Mhm.
Hear Noonda.
Oh,
Kiwapamin,
Tuesday.
yeah, Nijo,
Geez, you're good.
Nijo, Kishikat, Nino, Kiwapamin,
Oh.
Kiwapamig.
Yeah, we'll talk to you guys on Tuesday. Have a great weekend. Otherwise, tune in to the Res Rock Radio Show tomorrow at 10. Oh. Alrighty.